they know that you have no options. So it's against you. So you have to be, if you're going to be shopping, give yourself time. Just give yourself a lot of time. This way you're not backed into a corner to where you're overpaying.
Download now. The Ultimate Guide to Istanbul.
You know, I've crafted this guide for you guys to give you a good starting point. So not just for shopping, but I also want to make videos about some of the things I'm talking about. So not only you're referencing the guide, you also see me standing in the shop talking about things. I'm gonna go for some notes. It's the easiest way for me to do it. Today we're talking about why you should shop early in your trip. And what I mean by shopping early in your trip, we're not talking about the time of day. Leaving enough time for shopping. You're trying to do too much your first trip to Istanbul. I've been coming to Istanbul for 4 years now. There are things that I've never done in Istanbul. Why? Because I'll get to some of the point. I don't try to pack my whole time into one trip. I want to enjoy it. I don't want to rush around. I noticed if you're a shopper, you're going to need to give yourself at least 2 days of shopping. I've hung out with some of you guys and I've done 2 days shopping with you guys, just hanging out, showing you guys different qualities and, hey, trying to explain to you, this is low quality, this is mid quality, this is high quality. This is what's available to you. So then you can come back the next day and decide, okay, what do I want to get? Shop early in your trip. We're not talking about time of day. You need to get familiar with qualities and prices associated with those qualities. Some people think fake is fake. It's all the same. And to me, that's baffling. Istanbul is way different than any other country when it comes to this fake market stuff because it's open air. And you have the ability to walk around and actually go in places and touch things and feel things and ask prices. And if you cannot tell the difference as you're walking around from shop to shop and understand that there is a huge range, there is many degrees of low quality, especially when it comes to like shirts and bags. There is like the craziest extreme low quality. Then you get to like the mid-level quality. And then there's a range again. And then there's ranges in high quality as well. There is like a step system in all of this kind of thing. And how things are made determines what it really is. You need to familiarize yourself. This is why you need to give yourself time. Otherwise, you're going to overspend. 100%, you're going to get taken, you're going to overspend. And what's going to happen is the rest of your trip, what you're going to realize is you're going to find better. And it's like, oh, I shouldn't have bought that. Like, you're just going to randomly see better stuff. And you're going to be like, why did I buy this so early? You need to be able to explore the markets. Just like I said, you're going to explore the markets and you're going to see the different qualities and you're going to get the different price ranges. And you're going to start to learn the lingo and what people say. And you're going to tell who is a salesman versus who is the owner, who is more genuine than other people. And then you're going to start to realize, yeah, you know what? Chris talked about this, or Chris showed this in his videos, and I've heard this lingo before. And, you know, he said, if you hear this lingo, it's just BS. And you'll start to pick up. If you're exploring on your own, you're gonna pick up these things and realize, yeah, I've seen this play out before in his videos and his live streams. And you're gonna be a much more efficient shopper, and you're gonna get more bang for your buck when it comes to the quality, and you're going to be happy at the end of the day. Avoid last minute stress. If you save all your shopping to the last day before you leave, you're going to have some headaches, possibly, because you're trying to cram it in. And then you might have bought too much stuff, and now you got to get extra luggage, and then you got to hopefully, you can buy extra baggage for the plane. The one thing about buying high quality items here in Istanbul, especially the places that I suggest that it's in my guide that I'm talking to you about right now, they give warranties, guarantees. What I mean by that is, let's just say you're here on a Monday, right? And you buy a bag or a pair of shoes. And then you use the bag for a day or two and something happens to it, right? It's rare, but it can happen, right? It's made by humans. Something can go wrong. You bring the bag back and they'll either fix it for you or swap it out. Stitching on the shoes bad or something, hey, they'll swap it out. Same thing with a watch or even clothing. Maybe you tried one thing and you realize, oh, I should have went the size up. So you have all the other ones in the bags and stuff like that. You could take them back and swap it out. But if you do that on a Saturday and you're leaving at 6 o'clock in the morning on a Sunday, not gonna happen. So you gotta give yourself the time to actually, remove that stress. You don't wanna get stuck and find yourself in a bad situation where you're gonna feel like you wasted money because you actually did waste money. Anybody that's in my guide when it comes to shops is extremely limited for a serious reason. I've been doing this 4 years. There's a reason why my guide is very exclusive. It has to do with the treatment of you guys. I do my research. And one of the biggest things, I've said this before, female solo travelers or a mother and a daughter traveler. You might see and hear things about Turkey on Western media. And then you say to me, Chris, is Turkey safe? I'm going with my daughter or I'm going by myself. Any store in my guide, They are very trusted. You know, you don't have to worry about going to a showroom, whatever. These are legit people. And it's important to me that everyone feels safe. I've had men say to me in the past, over the years, that, yeah, this guy was trying to take me down these back alleyways through this building, and I just stopped following him because I felt uncomfortable. Totally understandable. I talk about that in my guide, that you kind of have to feel it out, right? So this is why, like, shopping early, though, in your trip gives you options, because you might dip out on some showrooms because you're like, I'm not going in there. I'm not following this guy. You have to make decisions, you know, but that's why, like I said, you need to give yourself time to shop. Don't rush it. Opportunity for haggling. You know, this one, the more you know, the more you prepare yourself with what's available in the markets as far as the different ranges of quality, the prices associated with that, you're going to be a better haggler, better at negotiating. You're going to understand, well, okay, if I don't get it here, I know where I can go and try also. Now, this is where I've talked about many times. High quality is a different animal when it comes to haggling. The higher quality is much more rare, which means you have less opportunity, and the seller knows you have less opportunity to find high quality. And I always talk about that. Haggling for low quality street shit is way different than haggling for high quality merchandise. You are always at a disadvantage when it comes to high quality negotiations. It is much different. You always have to understand that. That's why you need to understand, like, all right, what's available to me? The next one here is plan for shipping. Okay, so plan for shipping is the next one here. What I mean by that is, we talked about earlier that if you shop early in your trip, then you can assess, do I need to buy extra luggage? Shippings of replicas or copies, things like that, it can be a little daunting depending on the country you live in with customs. So me personally, I would always refer to the shop you're buying at, because they know how to ship things correctly, okay, into countries. And they'll tell you, like, nah, that country's not, that's gonna be a difficult one. Now, other people would tell you, oh yeah, you just go to PTT Cargo and fly. Good luck. That's a 50-50. It's a 50-50 and it could take a long time. Sometimes it works out fine. Sometimes it doesn't. Best thing is to talk to people in the shops that you're dealing with and say to them, how can I ship this back? Would you offer, you know, charge me a fee to ship it? And they will do it properly. The other thing is, you need time to reflect. So if you shop on a Saturday and you're leaving Sunday morning, you have zero time to reflect, like, you know what? I should have went back to this place and bought that bag. Or, you know what? I'm going to go back to this place and see what the price will give me on these 3 bags. If you're saving everything for the last day, you're just giving yourself no time to really wheel and deal, make good negotiations, and leave with what you want. You just really want to set yourself up to succeed and not fail at this. Now, I get it, though. Some of you guys are only coming in for 3 days, 5 days. And it's difficult. When you're not leaving yourself time to shop, you're going to be a little bit more at the mercy of what is in front of you, and also the prices that are being presented to you. You'll have no feel for the haggling, you know, because if you start early in the week on your trip and you get acquainted with the markets, and if you go back towards, you know, middle of the week, maybe like a day in between, and you had some time to reflect between the days, you're going to go back prepared. You're going to have a better experience because you're not rushing around. Like I said, leave some things on the table to do next trip to Istanbul. That's the important thing about my guide, is to prepare you to make Istanbul a lot more enjoyable by giving you information, basic information about Istanbul, ways to get around, ways to do things, give you some tips about scams to avoid, so you don't waste time on scams, right? Because scams eat up time too. Not only do they take your money, but they eat up your time. And also too, with the markets, I want you to feel comfortable with the markets. I don't want you to waste your time in the markets. I don't want you to waste the time of the sellers as well. Like, you want to have, you know, a good vibe, a good energy, and you want your entire trip here in Istanbul to be fun and exciting. And avoiding scams and giving yourself enough time to actually enjoy the things you want to do. Things to just think about.
I love crime like Azealia Banks. Catch me if you can, yeah, Tom Hanks.